Welcome back. So today I'll be showing you how you lay out your content for your hero section. Previously in our previous video, I showed you how you can set up your menu item, your navigation and everything using the nav tag and the header elements. And in this video, I'll be talking about the hero section. But before we move forward to laying out the content for our hero section and start styling, there's one thing I missed in the first video and I want us to trash that. Adding fonts. Yes, I want to use a different font. As you can see, this is a different default font that we have. I've already started checking some Google fonts that I want to use and this looks okay to me. And this is what I'm going to use. So I'll just add everything, the font weight, and I'm going to just get this link here, which I'm going to use. So I'll go back. So let's go back to this and let's go back to our link, our code rather, and come to the top, the head section. I want to put it here. Then I'll save it and format it. As you can see, it looks like the font is not taking effect. What we actually need to do, we need to specify the font family in our body section. And the font family, what's the name of the font? Let's go back to the font we selected. The name of the font is Roboto, right? So let's come back here, take this guy, come here and apply it and save, right? And right now if we come back to our page and refresh, and as you can see, the font is already taking effect. So for us to see that the font has actually taken effect, let's undo it, and as you can see, the look and feel is now different, right? All right, so that is done, and that is that. So we've applied fonts to, we have applied a new font to our design, and it's looking a little bit different. So the next part we'll be talking about is the hero section. Mind you, the hero section is one important part of your website, right? Everybody that goes to your website, that's the first thing they get to see. So you should be able to think about the content you're going to put there that will make whoever is going to view your website or your portfolio, because basically this is a portfolio, and I'm thinking about those who are applying for job, trying to create their own portfolio and make it catchy for whoever is coming to view their portfolio while going through the recruitment process. All right, so always come up with something good that will draw the attention of the viewer or whoever is viewing your content to see more of your content, meaning go dig down into your content. But this is the hero section, and this is where you're going to do that. So I will start by using the section tag, and in between the second tag I'm going to have two div, and I will tell you why I'm putting these two div. So the two div is for my content. The first content I want to put here is the image, and yes, so let's go grab our image. And I'm not going to use any other image. I have an image on my website, so you can go to my website, brianjoseph.com, or you can get your own image and use it. But I'm using this image. I'm going to just get the URL of this image and use it. So let's do this. Yeah, now look at the URL of the image. I'm going to take it, and I will tell you why I'm using this image, and I will show you why I'm using this image. Right, so let's come back here, come back to our code, and on our image section, yeah, this URL, and I'll paste it. Right, so, and also make sure you add the alt text. The alt text will be what is going to render if your image is broken, meaning if the URL to your image is broken. For example, let me cut out this URL, and as you can see, the URL is broken and the alt text is what is showing. Why do you need the alt text? The alt text is very important for screen reader, so that for the people who are visually impaired, who can't see, while you are visiting your website using mic headset, they can be able to read through the headset. The screen reader is going to read through what is in that HTML element, and the alt tag is what is going to be read to the listener. All right, and that's the reason why it's very important you put an alt tag. That aside, and this is one of the reasons why I said I want you to see this image that I'm putting. It's very large. You have a very large width and height, and as you can see, it's making our website to scroll horizontally, which is not what we want, because of the width is very large and it's kind of not responsive, right? So there's a CSS reset I usually do for my images. What I usually do, I usually call it a CSS reset to me, right? You can call it whatever. So what I usually do, I apply a width of 100% to all my images. So this way it takes 100% of its container, meaning whatever container, whatever HTML element that includes the image is going to take 100% of that container. And this way is going to reduce the size and base it to do a calculative way of reducing the size and make it look good, right? As you can see, that is that. And the next thing we want to do, we want to add our hero text, right? And our hero text, we're going to use heading 1. Why are we using heading 1? Why are we not using heading 2? Heading 1 is one of the largest, I say one of the largest, is the largest of all heading, right? And basically on every web page, you can only have one heading 1, right? And the heading 1 is usually used in the hero section. I know it's not everybody that understand that principle, but that is how it should be. You should only have one heading 1, which is going to be the largest text, and is usually on the hero section. And we're not going to talk about how elements should be placed, right? The semantic nature of that. But I'm just trying to keep that and also inform you that this is how it should be done. All right, so your tagline goes here, right? Whatever description you want to have that will make the viewer going to stay. But I'm not putting in this very serious description. You should do that. I'm just going to put one of the tagline I've been using: pushing little lights in machine, right? So that's basically what I'm going to use, and as you can see, it's showing down below. All right, now as you can see, it's looking as if the image is together with this guy. Or okay, I really don't want to make the image be the first thing they see. I want them to see this text, right? For me, that is the most interesting part for me, right? So I want them to see, so we are putting text here. I also want to maintain the same background color of the header section with this hero section. So we're going to do, we're going to apply a class here called hero, and that's what we're going to start. So let's come here and do a dot. This is how you target your class, and let's apply our background color here, and I think this is the color. I guess we've been using this color, right? So it's high time. Once you notice that you started using something more than once, it's always advisable to create a variable and have that variable that you can reuse instead of retyping that color. And it makes it easy if you want to make changes to that same color. You don't need to make it in multiple places. You can just make it in one place and it take effect for all other part that was using the variable. All right, how do you define variable in CSS? You come to your the top part. I usually like to write it in the top part here, which would be the first thing. So you do your root, column root, and in between the row you can write your CSS variable. How do you write CSS variable? You use two hyphen and whatever name you want to give to the variable. I call it bg color, right? And I probably say bg color main because it's the main background color I'm going to have, and I paste it here and save. Take this guy out, semicolon. All right, so now it's time for us to change this variable, replace the variable with this color here. And how do you do that? So we'll go to the section of the HTML style that is using that background color, which is this is the first one. We're going to change it by using the variable function in CSS and select, and it's going to change. And still, as you can see, everything is working fine. The color did not change. But let's make a little mistake on the name of the variable, and you can see the color is changing, right? Let's undo that and save it. And now we have a better way of using our variable color, which is reusable. Now the same thing we're going to do here. We're going to apply the variable function and pass the color. And as you can see, we now have the same background color, but our text is not showing. So let's go inside the hero section and target our H1 and change the color of the text to white, right? And now we have our text. So let's give our text a breathing space, right? Let's apply some style that will make it to breathe. And it's very important. Spacing in styling of your HTML page is very, very important. It makes whatever you have to have clarity and is well placed and have room, right? So let's do what we're going to do. We're going to apply padding. I'm actually going to do it directly on this. And right now I'm not thinking about a lot of how I'm going to style this thing. I'm just trying to show you how you can better lay out your portfolio website. All right, and I'm going to do top bottom is the first. So I'm using the shorthand CSS here. So the top bottom, let's do 3 rem, and left right I'm going to do 1 rem, and this way is going to start, and it's going to create a space at the top and bottom, right, and left and right. And as you can see, is already giving this the text a breathing space. So remember, I know you'll be thinking right now and saying anyone should supposed to be a large text. Remember, in the first video we reset all our CSS, right? Meaning we take out all the default style that is onto the CSS, so that whatever style we are going to apply, we'll be sure that we are the one who applied, and we don't need to be calculating whatever default style we already have with the current style. All right, now, and as you can see, I'm using rem, which are relative units, and relative unit is always important. I usually like using relative unit when I'm doing things like padding and also for font size. And basically, whatever relative unit you are using here is going to be tiled relatively to the body, which is the root of your HTML style. Right now we're not talking about CSS style here. I'm just going to show you some basic styles, and let's move forward. So what we're going to do now is to increase the font size to, let's say, 2 rem. Let's use 2 rem. We bump it up a little bit, and 2 rem looks good. You can decide to make it like 2.5 rem, and it's still not bad. 2.5 rem is still not bad. So another thing I also want to do, I want to add letter spacing, which will give spacing between each character. And I'm going to 1.2 pixel, which is one of the letter spacing I like using. Now also I'm going to do line height, and line height I'm going to use 1.2. All right, and this way is already looking good and looking well placed, right? Now there's a little trick I want us to do, right, so that it will be the most attractive part of this website, all right, this hero section, because that's the first thing anybody is going to see. All right, I want us to do like a cool style on one of the texts. For example, the machine is the most important keyword here, and I want to give it a little star. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap the machine with a spam tag, and I'm going to cut this guy here and paste it here. And now it still looks the same, right? And now it's time for us to go and style it. So what are we going to do here? I want us to apply 3 different colors onto the text, right? So that this way it will be a little bit attractive to whoever is coming to this web page, and it will decide to see what is and what you have more deep down in the website. All right, now let's go back here and target that element. We're going to do hero, we're going to do h1, and we're going to do span, right? This way we are targeting the span element, and let's change the color to red, so that just to show you that yes, we are actually targeting this element. And I know you'll be saying that why am I using all this selector and child selector and parent to child selector that I'm doing, right? This actually increases the specificity of this this whatever style I'm going to write here. This video is not for specificity, and I'm going to make a video that talks about specificity, and I explain it to you, right? So let's just continue. So we are targeting the text. So the first thing we want to do, we want to apply a background image, right? And you'll be surprised why we are applying background image, because we want to do a style, and we want to apply whatever style we're going to do, whatever background color we're going to apply, we want to apply it onto the text. So we use background image, and we are going to do linear gradient, because I want to have like multiple colors onto the text, like more than one color. So the first value I'm going to put here is going to be how the color will be distributed, and based on degrees, that's what I'm going to use. I'll say let's start with 10 degree, and the next value should be the colors I want to apply. So I'm going to do blue, I'm going to do purple, and I'm going to do pink, right? These are the 3 colors I'm going to use to style. And as you see, the color is already popping behind the scene, and it's already looking beautiful. So how do we make sure that this color is applied directly to the machine text, not being on the background, right? Now what we need to do is what we call background clip. Background clip is a CSS property that helps you to clip whatever background you have onto something, right? Either a shape or whatever you have, but currently we want to clip it onto text. So let's apply background clip. Background clip, yes. So background clip, we want to click it onto the text, And as you can see, the background clip is not doing anything, and you'll be surprised, like, why is it not taking effect, right? So this property, we need to use the WebKit to target this property, because some of the CSS property, WebKit is what you use to access it based on the browser, based on the user agent, right? Right now we're not talking about that, but let me just show you that this is how it works, right? So we say WebKit, and we want to target background clip, and we say we want to clip onto the text, right? And now we have done that, as you can see, you're actually clipping on the text, but you're not seeing it. Why? Because the text color is already taking priority over the background color. So how do we make sure that whatever background color we already have here on line 206 is going to take effect? So the next CSS property we're going to use is called text color, I think text fill or text color fill. That is CSS property we're going to use, and we're going to use this WebKit to access that. So we say WebKit text fill color. Yeah, so the text fill color we're going to apply to it, we're going to say we want a transparent color, so that whatever color we've applied as the background image, that's what is going to take effect. And I will save it, and boom, now we have our color onto this text. But as you can see, the color is not looking too fine, so let's make adjustment a little bit on the degree. I think maybe that's where we need to, let's bump it up to like 50 degree. Okay, it's actually gradually changing. Let's do 100. Oh shit, let's do 100 degree. Okay, it's not really bad. 100 degrees is not really bad. Actually, you have to make sure, and you have to try different colors and see the one that suits this particular style we're doing, and you can use it. I think let's change this to a lighter color. Let's use Dodger blue. I know Dodger blue, and I love Dodger blue. Yeah, Dodger blue. As you can see, it's looking cool, right? So let's do something else. Let's come back to our H1 tag, and let's apply font bold. I think font weight, let's give it like 700 to our text. Yes, and as you can see, 700 makes it to be a little bit thicker than it used to be, right? We probably might do 600. Let's see how 600 will look. Yes, 600 is also cool, so let's stick with this. And as you can see, it's already looking charming and beautiful. And yes, so this is how you apply it. Don't forget, the first thing you need to do is the background image and apply linear gradient. The second thing is the background clip. The third thing is going to be your text fill color, and this will do the trick for you, and it's going to make it look the way it's currently looking. So now I'm done doing the mobile styling, and as you can see, it's already looking beautiful on the mobile view. So the next will be our desktop view, right? So we are done with mobile styling, and I told you always start from mobile first. I learned this from one of my colleagues, Tolu, the biggest fish in town. He was the one that taught me how to style a web page starting from the mobile first. And I actually tested it before. I was doing desktop first, then coming down to start mobile first, and I was writing a lot of media queries. But with the mobile first pattern, it helps me to write less CSS code, and I've loved it from since then till date. And I also advise you to do the same. Right now, we're going to stop this video here because I don't want this video to be longer than it already is, so that in our next video we're going to start the desktop view. So let's just increase it, and as you can see, this is how it's currently looking on the desktop, and it's very large, right? So let's go back. In our next video, we're going to do the desktop view. Make sure you click the likes and subscribe button if you have not done so, and if this is your first time of visiting my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that when I post any new content, you get to see it. You'll be the first to see it. And also don't forget to share with friends. And I hope you've learned something today. I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned.